I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, we have a full house tonight. Thank you, everyone, for coming. It's nice to have company every once in a while. Taylor Gray, would you mind coming up to the podium and introduce yourself, please?
Hello, I am Taylor Gray. I'm relatively new to the Clayton community. We've been here for about 4 years, and I'm excited to speak with y'all. Should I just launch right in, or do you want a question?
No, I'm sorry.
Perfect. No, just wanted to make sure.
Yes. No.
So I'm meeting with you all tonight. I sent a letter over, I think on Thursday afternoon or Friday. I can't remember exactly when. To be honest, I'm more surprised probably than anyone that I'm actually even broaching the subject, and I'm interested in getting some feedback. But I have a 2-year-old son and a 6-month-old daughter. My background is completely different than this. I have a master's in public policy and international relations, and I have my own very successful management consulting business. But I'm now going down the venture of starting an early childhood education program. And I am basically here to speak with you about a potential location that we have found that we'd really like to have kind of the consideration of changing the zoning, or I'm hopeful that perhaps it was more of an omission than anything else. The location in question is 230 James Street, so it's the building right next to River Yoga, just for a little bit of reference. But happy to answer any questions. I imagine that you all had a chance to read the letter that I had presented, but I'm happy to dive a little bit more into the pedagogy of the program that I've designed. It's already incorporated as a nonprofit, and essentially I'd just like to speak with you about the potential of using this space specifically, just based off of the location and the kind of layout as it stands. That said, I just want to say kind of an asterisk is, of course, and you all may be more familiar with this process than I was, but the OCFS has the opportunity after you decide to start an ECE program. You do obviously have to get the licensing, and so all of that is conditional on the site. It's a little bit more of a chicken before the egg situation, so we're hoping to secure the site first so that we can go through with that licensing. There is always the possibility that they may turn around and suggest we do something different as well. So I just wanted to kind of expand on that a little bit before kind of launching into it. Do you want me to go into a little bit more information about the nonprofit, or do you want to just ask some questions? I don't know if you've had a chance to read the letter.
Ron, do you have any? We'll just go down the
board. The issue, I think, originally that Riverwalk District B did not include that type of service was because of safety. I think that we were concerned of that being a high-traffic area, not a lot of good pull-up, that kind of thing, and we were concerned for the safety of the children. You know how busy it can be there. So I think that's why it was not included at that time.
Okay.
And I still believe that that would be a problem for me.
Okay. Can I respond to that with an idea?
Yes.
Okay. So behind the space itself, there's a parking lot that has very low traffic. I also do want to call out that we are hoping to have fewer kids actually than something that we're just packing a lot of kids in. The idea of it is not to have a daycare specifically. Again, this is a bit of a selfish endeavor. I lived in Europe for 7 years, and I am very much in awe of some of the educational curriculum that they have there. It's a much higher ratio of caretakers to children, and it's very much more of a school orientation as well. So I only call that out to kind of assuage some fears that there's going to be a ton of cars, even in general, dropping people off. I do feel like the foot traffic at the neighboring locations is likely to be actually considerably more. But that said, I already spoke with the owners, and they're very happy to help me enclose basically a back patio, so to speak, so we have a meaningful outdoor experience that doesn't spill at all into the foot traffic area, so no one would see it, but it would also offer us an opportunity for kids to come in that back entrance. I think parents would be more happy with that kind of security. The parking lot itself is relatively quiet, and by relatively I mean extremely quiet, but it would be great for everybody, I think, so we could just drop kids off, get them through the back at the beginning of the day, and then of course at the end of the day when parents came to pick them back up. I completely agree with you. Security is really important to me as well as a parent, and I'd like to just make sure that that's something that's ironclad.
I think that before I would still entertain a vote on that, a plan showing us exactly how the procedure would be. I know if you know how we do it at school, Rob, it's very strict.
Yep, more regimented. That makes a ton of sense. I'd be happy to put together a plan too. I'm sure OCFS wants that as well, so on board.
Rob?
I'm Rob Redock. I'm a fourth grade teacher up at Gardena Elementary School.
Nice to meet
I
you.
liked your letter. It was really well written, and I share the same concerns that Ron has, because we have constantly been tweaking the drop-off pickup at Gardena Elementary School. We always think we have it just right. There's not a problem at all, but somehow there always ends up being some kind of concern about it. There's a lot of parents that pick their children up and choose to, drop them off in the morning. And I was looking at some of the other daycare centers that are in here, and I know you're differentiating yourself from that, but I'm watching them pull into driveways where they can safely get out of the car, and then, you think you have the child like right next to you, and they sprint for the door or sprint back to the car or something. Those are my basic concerns of somebody being in a hurry in the morning and being able to safely get their child that they're dropping off into the building. Maybe the child that isn't going there, has to get out also. So I see, in my head, I see like 3 doors opening sometimes. I'm wondering how that's going to work with, the other businesses that are down there with snowbanks and things of that nature. So you talking about some kind of back parking lot is interesting to me.
Yeah, I share your concerns as well. Honestly, toddlers are extremely unpredictable, so you just don't want to leave anything up to chance at all. So I completely agree with this. But very happy to put together a more concrete plan and see us switch gears there.
I guess my concern would be, I'm Bob McDowell, I guess my concern would be similar to Ron and Rob said, that access to that rear entrance is through a private parking lot. I don't know how well it's maintained in the wintertime. I walked down there today. There are several businesses' cars parked back there right where you're talking about. That area behind the building that you're talking about is fenced off, but it's not all the way to the ground. And there are apartments above, and all the apartment people, it looks to me like they're parked above, and River Rat Cheese people and their delivery trucks are parked back there as well. So it seems like a fairly busy place. I don't think that you're going to, my concern would be that those vehicles move all day long. And I don't think that, I'm being concerned about the safety of the kids going in and out of there, or parents trying to pull in and out of there, particularly through somebody else's parking lot. It doesn't belong to the village. It's not public. It doesn't belong to that building either. So
that building they have their own parking.
Correct, but to get to it, you have to go through a private parking lot. There's no public road that goes to that parking area. So that'd be a concern.
Okay, totally valid. At the end of the day, this is a little bit of a Hail Mary for me, so I appreciate absolutely your concerns are noted. I will say that the owners of the building, I'm also a teacher at River Yoga, completely unrelated, I appreciate, but it is the same building that we use. So I'm a little bit familiar with the ability to be able to park back there. I know the owners of the whole building, including the apartment, are extremely excited about this idea. Again, selfishly, they have a new baby on the way, so they're really excited about something like this too. And they've already discussed the option of pushing out the stairwell that's behind there that you saw completely so that we could have a larger garden. I appreciate all of this would have a lot more zoning regulations, construction, that kind of thing, but all I'm saying is that they're very amenable to the idea. And so I think that if this was the major concern, we could absolutely discuss that. I personally do not know who owns the first part of the parking lot, to your point, directly, but I do know that the parking spots behind that, if we had a conversation with them, purchased them, for example, and also had some sort of relationship with someone that came in the winter to make sure that it was completely clear all the time, that would be something that our organization would have to take on and take ownership of, but of course this would make sense if that was the main way that people were getting in and out of the building.
I may be incorrect, and we'll look at it, Mike. There very possibly is a easement going through the Cummings parking lot to get there, because you have a number of people, and as everyone said, there are people that go in and out. But I know that the Kellogg's have parking back there. We've had numerous discussions about the U-Haul that has been moved, and there are other ways, and also River Rat Cheese often goes, because they have an alleyway that goes into their, to one of their garages. So there is a lot of traffic in and out. And I would feel that if you make the stipulation of, we don't use the front door but for pedestrians in your plan.
Yep, I would agree. And it would be great if there's local families that want to be able to use it, that would be able to come in the front way as well through just foot traffic.
Meredith?
Hi, Taylor. Did you say how many kids you're looking to accept, or like give a limit?
I did not, but we do have a limit.
Okay.
So I think square footage wise, we're allowed to, this is OCFS standard, I think it was up to 50. To me, that's way too many.
Yeah.
I would be more comfortable, I would think it would be amazing if we had 28.
Yeah.
I think that space, you could have more, but I don't think that would be the best benefit for anybody that would be there. So
Yeah.
that is my kind of number. Really transparently, I would be super excited if we had 12 people to kick this off. It would be a relatively small program. So between 12 and 28 is where I'm estimating and would be hopeful.
Yeah. And just to note, like Happy Kids Co. In terms of their parking lot, I think just like having consistency of what, the parking concerns there. It's chaotic there. There's people pulling in and out. It's not just their business. So I think it's quite similar, besides pulling in and out of another private, parking lot driveway. But I think we have to make sure we're having consistency with both of those, since that's the other daycare provider in the area, and they have quite a bit of kids. I mean, I don't know what the head count is there specifically, but it's the same type of chaotic drop-off and pickup. And I would actually say that differentiating is, I have security concerns with Happy Kids Go, having no locked front door, no other access, and so I think to use a back door instead of a front, just as a parent, that would create a lot more levels of safety. So I think a back entrance would be nice, but again, I don't know the specifics, but it's a great idea.
So my suggestion is, we would need to get more information from Kellogg's. And I think they have an easement to use some of the other back roads off of Riverside Drive. It goes this way. And I believe they can come in this direction as opposed to behind Drex as the example.
I think you're right.
Because I've just, not your, but I've discussed a lot of this in the past with Jeremy about River Yoga and what he wants. And his people who spend the night at their Airbnb, I believe all park out back.
I think they probably do. I know that there's entrances on both sides of on both sides of the building to be able to access that. I will bring up those concerns with them and have a discussion, and I'm sure then they might have even thought about this before I did.
And then we would, again, we'll continue to have discussion as we move forward. We would need some of that in writing from the property owner.
Absolutely.
Yes. And then find out about the easement going through, it's called the Cummings parking lot. I think there has to be an easement for the amount of people who park back there and then use other, because that's how you go through the Coffee Cove drive-through. Is you come in that same direction and through. I pass it every day in the wintertime. Besides the potholes, it's usually in good shape. Potholes can be pretty deep. Yeah. They do keep it plowed.
Sounds great.
So, are there any other questions from the board? So if you can find out some of that information, please, and you've met Mike, you could funnel all that information through him.
Perfect. I appreciate it. Well, thank you so much for the consideration and the questions. I'll come back with additional information. If anyone has any more information for me, I think my email is at the bottom of that letter. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Excuse me. David Powers, you're not on the agenda, but you're welcome to join us.
Thanks for having me tonight. I'll be quick, just providing an update on the water project. At this point, we've got the two contracts. Contract one's the intake, contract two is water main and lateral replacement throughout the village. The intake is complete, it's online, property's been restored. We're waiting for grass to grow. We'll be holding retainage for a little while longer, but once we see some nice grass at the yacht club site, then we'll work to close that project out, or that contract out. Contract number 2, Manfred Construction. I'm sure most of you have seen them around in the village. They've been working on Cornelia Ave, Frontenac Ave, and then Sherman and Emery. Those 4 have been pressure tested, disinfected, and the samples have been taken and sent to the health department as of today. So as soon as tomorrow morning, we will be turning that one live once we get the DOH's
exciting.
approval. Yep.
Great.
So we'll, once we're able to transfer those laterals over, they will restore those lawns. They have their hydro seeder coming this week, so by the end of the week, those 4 areas should be buttoned up and online.
That's exciting.
And this week, they moved to Cantwell Drive. That was one of the roads on the outskirts that kind of been, working that side of town. Once they're done there, they plan to return to James Street and install the 12-inch main down the sidewalk on the Gardino side of James, as it were. So next week, with any luck, they'll be moving there. The other portion that was actually not part of their contract, it was part of the emergency declaration that the village made a few months back, was to replace the water main on the French Creek Bridge. So that was completed last week. Again, pressure tested, disinfected, and certified, and turned online. I was very impressed. They completed that work in a single day. So sun up to not quite sundown, but late into the afternoon, they got that online. And when they came back the next day to pick the old main off the sidewalk and get it out of there, it snapped right in the middle. So that was why that declaration was made. We knew that that section of Maine was holding on for dear life. So that's great. That's wonderful asset renewal that that they performed, very well on. So I was happy with that. I know Terry would echo the same thing. So those are the updates on the water project. For tonight, there are 2 payment applications. Payment number 3 to DC Building Systems, that's $20,140. That's just closing out the majority of their lump sum items. So at this point, the retainage remains on their contract, but all work is complete. And then for Manfred Construction, that is $559,003.08. That was a majority of the 10-inch that was done on State Street via directional drill, and then 12-inch drills and the 6-inch on those 4 roads that I had mentioned previously. Were there any questions on those 2 payment applications?
Joanne, are those payment in the capital projects?
Yes, they are.
Wanted to make sure. Okay.
Yep.
So that's the 57,000, so that was exactly what they stated, right?
The 57.
The estimate.
Oh, for the bridge? Yep, yeah. And the bridge work will be paid out of the water fund or maybe general, but yep.
That's what we're seeing here.
Yep.
Thanks for getting that done.
Yeah, that was wonderful. I was very happy to see that, and
Me too.
like I said, it made it all the more better when he told us that he picked it up and it broke in half. So yeah, that 57,000 is not included in this payment
No,
application. Those are separate.
Just moving money around. Great. Any other questions? Super. Thank you, David.
Yeah, thank
Have
you.
a nice
You.
evening.
You too.
Terry Jones?
Good evening, everybody. You all have a copy of the DPW activity report. I just want to add that we took out 428 feet of sidewalk last week on Webb Street. They will be pouring, Fox will be pouring tomorrow. Those first 2 sections, I believe in the 300 block of Webb Street. That's about 140, 150 feet there, so they're doing that tomorrow. And then they'll keep moving down the line and pour as they go, so, good things. So it's working so far. We haven't had really any hiccups. I did have a couple of people call, hey, can you take this one out? There were a couple uneven here, so I think we ended up taking out about 3 or 4 extra slabs here and there. But other than that, and I expected that, really, I did. And we'll probably get that when we pick up and move and go to the other side. The only ones on the east side that we didn't get were down by Union Street, Bogan Shuts and Emily's place. And we'll do those when Mike's ready, which he figured maybe August-ish, so. But that'll get it buttoned up for the 4th of July. They should be done and dressed up and out of here by then, so.
Terry, you said that he's going to stop working on that and come back in the fall?
That's what he has told me, yes.
Okay.
And
So
he'll
that
finish
means
that side though, right? He'll finish that side.
He's gonna finish what we have taken out. I'm believing, yeah. I didn't wanna get too far ahead of him. We were gonna take those last 12, he told me to hold up. And that's the only reason. Now, if he comes to me and says, hey, if you wanna take those next 12, we'll gladly take them out for him, and then he can get those formed up. And then we just bounce back to the other side. Any questions on their report?
Crosswalks look great, Terry.
Yes,
Yeah,
yep,
it turned out nice.
yep, Jake's doing a fantastic job. He's he's getting the hang of it, very quickly. And I asked him how good he could do those yellow lines coming into the village, and he said, are they already there? And I said, they are. He goes, yeah, I can do it then. So we'll see how he does. But yeah, we did, they did. Franklin, Webb, Merrick, John, and they actually did some parking spaces down by the library. They had a wide open area, so they
And
covered it
these
off.
were done.
And they did this on
Yes,
Friday.
Yeah, okay.
They did this in the highway garage on Friday, which the town wasn't there, so it makes it a lot easier for them.
Sure.
Looks great.
Meters, parking meters.
Good, I'm glad you brought that up.
We did add some, or we're going to add some, on the backside of Riverside Drive. However, the company that we've bought meters from for the last 40 years is no longer in business, Palm. So Amanda has been in touch with this McKay meter company. She's having a hard time getting responses back, but she has been in contact. We do need some more meters. I did talk to Mike Loeb, who was our representative, great guy. He retired a couple of years ago, so I didn't really have a go-to guy anymore. But he told me going down the road, and he was always an opponent of kiosks or anything like that, because he always said, you got a kiosk, the thing goes down, you've got 15 parking spots you're out of. Parking meter, you only had 2. Well, we're coming into the age, the digital age, and they're slowly pushing it, and now the meters that are available do have actual credit card or coins. So probably going forward, maybe the board may want to, I know we dabbled in the idea of kiosks. Going forward, maybe do a 5-year plan, phase out the meters, and bring in the kiosks as much as we don't really want to. Or you ride out the meters as long as they last, they're digital. When they go, there's no repairing them. But they still are making them so they will take coins or a card. Well, who's gonna use their card for 50-cent meter or $1, you know, so. That's where it gets a little bit tricky.
And we're gonna have to, we don't need a conversation immediately about this.
No.
But we're gonna need a conversation, especially when we get into budget time. Because if we can't get meters any longer and we can't fix the current meters that we have, we're gonna have to, like Terry said, make a plan to eventually replace the other meters. Whether it be with kiosks or these
Or
electronics.
the meters that take
Yeah.
the card.
The cards, yeah.
Yeah, people don't walk around with coins and dollar bills in their pocket like they used to, or cash, so. So that's the dilemma on the meters, and I'll keep you posted when we finally get some and start installing them on the backside of Riverside.
So are you going to get, this is for Riverside Drive?
Yeah, the backside of
The
Riverside
backside,
from
are you
Mary.
gonna get the new ones? With the coins and the card?
It depends, if she can get just quarters, we're gonna just
Okay,
get the
just
ones
do
with the
that.
quarters, I believe.
We're
But
still investigating.
she's waiting for a response back from the
Yes.
representative there.
Okay. Fine.
I also know that there's like different apps that are not a kiosk that we could investigate too, if it's like aesthetic reasons.
Right.
The Flowbird app is as a mobile parking payment service. I mean, I don't know how high tech we want to get, but it could be a, contactless, something that we look into as well.
Good idea.
Any other questions for Terry?
I just had one, on the Arbor Care in the, 410 Merritt Street. That was for one, tree?
Yeah, I wondered the same thing. Thank you for bringing that up.
This seemed awful high for me.
Where are you?
Well, I'm just looking at,
I'm sorry.
Oh, on
On the abstract, it
Right.
says Arbor Care, $5,000, and then it talked about 410 Merrick Street for $5,000.
There's two trees there, wasn't
Did
there?
he do other work?
I don't know, that's
don't
what my
know.
question
I
was.
think there were two trees at 410.
Yes.
I'll have to
There
look
are.
at it, Ron, and I can
Is
get
that
back
you?
to you on it.
It's my neighbor. There are two trees.
My thought is that if.
They'll be much cheaper if we plant them.
Yeah.
The thing is at that time, I wasn't sure that I had time to actually go out and plant them with everything that we had going on at that time. But he's dragged his feet, he's been busy, I shouldn't say he's been dragging his feet, because I know he's busy. And he was supposed to be here last month, and I told Meredith he was supposed to be here. So, I mean, we can plant them, and it will be cheaper, and I'm sure he would be happy for us to plant them.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't have to have men here to do
My
it.
thought was only if that's how much they are for him to do, that we would look at alternatives because,
Yeah.
planting a tree and cutting is
Right.
totally different.
And, I thought this was gonna happen 3 weeks ago, a month ago. So that's kind of why I said, well, we'll, you plant them and we'll go that route. But we're getting caught up. And to plant 8 trees, 9 trees, or whatever it was, really wouldn't take that long to do. So,
Is that what he did? I didn't look at the bill thoroughly. I just saw it
Well, it just says.
in our abstract. So what, he took trees down and planted trees for 5,000?
No,
Or just planted
it's
two
just the
trees?
tree planting.
How many trees?
There were 7 or 8 trees.
Oh, okay.
So that's,
5,000?
No, it's 3491.
yeah, 3491, and it only had
Four or
the
five
410,
trees.
that's why I assumed.
And how many
it was
trees,
one
Robert,
tree.
now?
5 trees. $826 for 2, for 3 of them.
So it's $400 a tree.
413 for 1 and 600 lump sum delivery fee, $600. So my question, Terry, is I'm not looking for you to do it, but I mean, if we went to the nursery over here
Yep.
and asked them to do it, give them an opportunity anyway and see what they would charge us. But they were going to plant them at my place, and I asked them if they were going to guarantee them if I planted them. They said, no, if we plant them, we'll guarantee it. So, okay. Anyway.
So who planted at your place? The local
No, I
nursery or?
did, but I mean, they're gonna charge me again twice what I was gonna pay, because in case the tree died, they would
Right, they would
So-
replace it.
But still, it was way less than $400.
Yes.
Right, right.
All right, well, we'll look at that for the,
Yeah.
yeah, in the very near future.
All right, I'll
Yes.
get in touch
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah, I know they do it, so. But they are great at cutting trees, though. They did some stuff on our yard over here. They did Arbor Care, they did great.
And they gave me all their mulch for free.
Oh, nice. Brought the wood chopper right up to you.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, good.
And they did a great job, and they took everything, it's perfect,
Yeah.
and it wasn't bad price either.
Okay. Any other questions for Terry? Super.
Thanks, Terry.
Thank you,
Village
Terry.
looking nice.
Yeah, village is
We're
beautiful.
getting there, aren't we?
Yeah, looks nice.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Terry. Any questions under the police report? All righty. Any questions or comments about the consent agenda? Items number 1 through 5? If not, could we have a motion to
I have
accept
one
those?
question.
Yes.
It
Yep.
was on the lawyers. And I was trying to figure this out, that's all. The EFC bonding closing, there was 2 of them, but the item looked like it was different. I was wondering what that is.
You mean the account number they're using?
Okay, so that was, it looked like the
Well,
same thing.
It
to
is
look
the
at.
same thing, and
And that's why I was concerned as to.
what's
if there was
happened
something.
is, and this is just the brief overview with EFC, they've become very challenging to work with, and because of that, we're getting charged more money.
But that's not a duplicate payment, because
No, it would not be,
the payment was
no.
exactly the same for 2 of them.
No, it's not.
Okay, that's all.
It's close to it, but it wasn't exactly the same. But, oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
exactly the same.
Yeah, I see what you're
So I
saying,
was
but
just
then
concerned
they,
it was a double.
yeah, no. And it's unfortunate that the village is taking the short end of it because EFC has gotten turned upside down over the last year and a half, 2 years.
What is EFC?
What is EFC? It's a, I know. It's how we get how they give us bond money through the government.
Yeah.
And they've just, I watch the emails that go back and forth between whether it be Dank or a man. It's amazing that they can even stay in business. And I remember maybe less than 2 years ago, we were to have a Zoom meeting, we're all on the meeting, we're waiting, we're not organized. Well, I think it's obvious, yes, but that's what's happening, because these bonds take longer, but they're usually 0 interest bonds, so that's why we go with them.
But that's what we're doing, we're moving a high interest,
Generally speaking, yes,
and we have to wait a year before we can bond it.
yes,
And
and
then
then,
the lawyers are taking care of that bonding.
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes.
I thought that's what it was, but I was concerned about the cost. being
Oh, I
identical.
don't disagree with you at all, it's rather stunning.
Then I would make a motion to do the consent agenda.
And could I have a second?
I can second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Capital projects. So as David said, this capital project includes both DC Builder and Manfred.
I'll make the motion.
And a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. And now we are making, we need a motion to move from the water department capital reserves to their, this water distribution category.
I can make a motion to move those funds.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great, thank you. Okay, let's see. We went, the board went a week ago Tuesday to a meeting on Airbnbs. And we need to decide when we would like to have a workshop for that. So we'd like to make that decision before the meeting is over with. It was very interesting. A lot of good information, and Jefferson County and others are willing to help us create this short-term rental kit. As many people know, the cruise ship has been in twice in the last week. They are extremely happy. They feel that so far we have been the nicest port they have come into. So they take on water here, which I think they take on in others. They're getting fuel, they're getting pump outs, a variety of things. And you can pass this on her. They presented this to the village yesterday.
Oh, very nice.
All right, cool. Very nice.
So once I get an official office here, it'll go into my official office. Yes. Let's see, the next thing I wanted to talk about was, this came in today. Jefferson County is doing public transportation,
Yes.
and they'll be stopping in Clayton. I'm gonna pass this around. There's a map on here. It looks as though they would like to put the bus stop right by Samaritan. So take a look at that, please. And then I'll call them tomorrow, see what you all think. Samaritan on Strawberry Lane. Is where they would like to do that. And if the bus system becomes successful, then we've had a little conversation about building some bus stops. Maybe they could stop at more than one place in this area, in Clayton, but we think through our LWRP, we could get some funds to make a nice little bus stop, because we do have such crappy weather most of the year. Except for today, it's beautiful. Except for
And
today,
where does it
yes.
say the other stops would be? It goes to Watertown.
It goes to Watertown. I think this one is gonna be coming from, it'll go Watertown and then into Alex Bay, and then Clayton. I believe they're stopping into Depauville and then into Watertown. So just making that loop. Yes. Let's see, and we talked about this. Thank you, Mr. Nick Quattro. What is it? Courier.
She's thanking you for
You
saying that.
asked, we do.
Oh.
These will be given out to every household in, when I say the village proper, in the village area. We're not gonna go down to, I don't think, Bartlett Point. So, this is what, this came actually from New York State, we reprinted. We have a bunch of them in the office. And before everyone leaves tonight, we'll make up a little schedule as to who's going to, what street everyone is gonna take. Let's see, I think everyone's gotten the emails about, there is a dedication at the Opera House. There was the dedication 2 weeks ago at the ABM. There's a dedication at the Arts Center on the 22nd. And Tilt is having a dedication of their Discovery Center. So if you'd like to go, please respond. And otherwise, that's all I have. Do you have anything, Trustee Bonesteel?
I'll just add to that, the Tilt Picnic is this Friday.
Yes, that is correct, yes.
As well as the Art Center, the first gallery opening will be starting on the 24th along the River's Edge, which is their most popular one. And there will be a reception that night at the new building, followed by the Summer Arts Kickoff that Saturday. And they'll be doing more like tours of the building at that event on Saturday. It's a family-friendly event. Other than that, that's all I have right now.
Super, thank you. Trustee McDowell?
Saturday's chamber village-wide yard sale got off to a rough start because of the weather.
Yes, it did.
But man, I tell you what, by 9 o'clock it was packed up
I
and down
heard.
York Street, and it was incredible. And then the turnout was incredible. I mean, people were coming to my house and telling me that all over the village it was just packed. And so that's pretty good.
So I heard, and this is something for us to think about, I don't know if we can, this challenge that came up, but that people were parking on both sides of the streets, and that it was difficult even for anyone to pass. Something to think about for next year, if we can come up with a better idea, or just throw it to the wind and let people figure it out.
That's apparently what I think our police were doing that day, because they were driving like this through Merrick Street to get back to the office and parking here, and they were parked the wrong way and on Merrick facing in the wrong direction on
Yes.
the wrong side. So, I mean, if they're not going to enforce it, we're not going to enforce it. So,
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think, though, that is there some suggestions that we could make to the chamber, for the chamber to, and maybe there's nothing we can do about it, and it is what it is, so. But no, the police aren't gonna, you're right, they're not going to. Rob?
I don't have anything to share.
Thank you. Ron?
I just had, one thing, we had a few applicants for zoning. But one thing I did want to discuss, or just explain, ZBA asked me to look into the requirements for property survey for variances. And I did look into it, and the answer is no. I also talked to Dave and Mike and DOS. And the way it sits is that they can ask for a property survey if needed, or they believe is needed, but is not a requirement.
Required, right.
And so that means if you're trying to put a small shed in, you don't want to pay $800 for a property survey
Correct.
for something small like that. So that gives them the ability to do as needed. And that's all.
Thank you. So would we have our next workshop before the next meeting in June? Do you want to have one next week or before the next meeting?
I would prefer for the next meeting.
Does that sound good for everyone? Is that good for you, Rob?
Right before the next meeting?
Yes,
Yeah, the hour before you're talking about?
that is correct.
Okay.
Yes, okay. So we'll do a workshop at 4 o'clock on the 22nd. Anything else? Anyone from the public have comments? Pardon me? Airbnb.
There.
No comments? Right. Could I have a motion to close the meeting?
I'll make a motion.
In a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you.